Hey everybody, it's Caitlin with Glitter Chimp coming to you from our studio to do a fun tutorial today on how to do the alcohol ink coffee tumblers. So I've already got a couple of these made actually because, well, one time I decided to film a video and next thing you know, my phone stops recording. So we're gonna do this again. So we're gonna show you guys today how to do the coffee tumbler. So it's got just like that. It looks like you're mixing coffee, sugar, like creamer and sugar together into the cup, on the cup using alcohol inks, which you can do these either on a white base or a black base, which of course gives you a different look depending upon the base of the cup. But for today, we're actually just going to go ahead and do it on a white base. Ooh, sorry, that was loud. So here's another one that I've done. And the reason I love these is because every time you do them, you end up with a completely different look. And it just depends on how much of one color you put on a cup versus another. But either way, you end up with these amazing swirls, which just look incredible. And I love these too because my daughter's obsessed with space and she calls these Jupiter cups. So if you have someone who's obsessed with space, you can easily do a Jupiter themed tumbler doing this method as well. So we're gonna go ahead and get this started. I have my tumbler prepped. I have my inks kind of sort of picked out for what I'm gonna be doing for today. So let's get the camera turned down and we're gonna get this started. All right, so we have our cup here. I've already prepped it. It's just got a flat white spray paint base coat on this. And I already have my epoxy mixed up here. I kind of mixed a little extra, but this is a total of 25 milliliters of counterculture medium viscosity artist resin. And I have my inks, and I know you can't see them. They're sitting up here on my cup turner. But like I always do, I always have a sheet of paper here so I can put some spots on here. I want to see the colors before I put them on here because sometimes your mood changes and the type of colors you want to put on the cup can change. So I'm going to just go ahead and do this. My first color I'm going to do is brown. And again, I like the brown because whenever you use it on the cup, it gives you these really rich browns, which I love. So no matter what, I know I'm using brown for sure. Then we have caramel, which is a little bit of a lighter brown, which again is always a great one to use. Let me see. Cinnamon, it's kind of a weaker coffee look. And then we've got vanilla, if I can open this, which is extremely basically weak coffee. These are the four colors I usually use. However, I do have this new color, terracotta. So I kind of want to just see, it's going to be more of an orange. But it's actually not a bad color. So I think I'm just going to kind of play around with these colors. Terracotta may be too, yeah, that's too orange. So I'm not going to use terracotta. So I'm just going to use brown, caramel, cinnamon, and vanilla. We're not doing the terracotta color. And then I'm using deep white. So all of these are by Marabou. We do carry all of these. I'm using deep white today versus just a regular white. But you do want to make sure you shake this up until you hear the little ball rolling around. This one's got to be shaken up. The other ones don't. So I'm going to go and turn on my cup turner. Silence. Perfect. And coat the entire cup in epoxy. And then we're going to move on to the inks. So why don't we go ahead and just do that now? And I know I have a lot of air bubbles in my epoxy today. I stirred it up quite a bit. But the fun thing is that alcohol pops the air bubbles that get in the epoxy. So as soon as you start dropping epoxy on this, the air bubbles that are in the epoxy will pop. Plus you will hit this with a heat gun, which helps get rid of any extra air bubbles that are hiding on the tumbler. So we're gonna get this nice and coated, and then we'll start dropping some ink onto the cup. Okay, so I used just a little, about probably 20 milliliters of epoxy to do this. because I don't want it to be too thin of a coat, because you want the epoxy to be able to move, or not the epoxy, sorry, the ink to move around the tumbler and the epoxy. So now we're going to start with the fun stuff, which the reason I love this cup is there's really no right or wrong way to start doing this. All that matters is you do your colors first and your white last. So you just pick up your ink that you want to start with. I'm just starting with brown, and you literally just put drops on the cup as it spins. And there's no special way to do it. You just put a drop on, and you don't want to go too crazy heavy with one color unless you're specifically looking for a specific design as far as the color goes. But for what I'm doing, I'm just kind of gonna randomly place these drops where they kind of fall. And you don't have to fill in all of the white space, because again, as this spins and starts to cure, you will end up with a lot of extra movement. And you can also always go back in with the other inks and do other additions of colors. So now I'm gonna go to caramel, which I wanna try to get some on that bottom. In order to get on the bottom, just put it, drop right there on the lip of the tumbler, on the edge, right here, and it will fall underneath to the base of the cup. But if you don't get anything down there, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. All right, so that one was caramel. Now I'm gonna add some vanilla. All this is making me want to do is go have coffee right now, but I can't because it's like 2 in the afternoon. So I shall wait until a little bit later today, around 4. So now we've got a good amount of the ink put on the tumbler. Now I'm gonna go in with the white, and I already can tell I wanna put more of the brown on here. So you're gonna take your white ink and just drop it inside of the colors. It doesn't have to be directly in one, but this way it causes it to kind of change the color a little bit and brighten it up. And it helps give you those really nice swirls. Get some on the bottom. And you'll start to see it mixing and moving, which is awesome to always watch. And now I've got the white on there. I'm actually gonna go back in with some more of the brown. And again, you just drop this wherever you kind of feel you want it. You can drop it within the white, it doesn't matter. It's just kind of, you're trying to make it very swirly. And it's really hard to say when to stop on this too, I'll admit it, because as you're doing this, you start thinking, oh, well, it's starting to get too light. I need to change this. You just need to kind of know when the best point is to stop. And I mean, you really just kind of have to guess. I usually do a couple colors a few times. And then once I finish, I'll show you guys kind of what happens. But obviously, I always show you guys what happens. So you'll start seeing here, it's starting to kind of mix and with itself, and it really gives it such a cool effect. I wish I could show you the bottom of the cup right now, but I can't, because no, I'm going lighter. All right, so I'm gonna go in with a little bit more of vanilla. And back in with some more white. Then we get to do something super fun. which is also what I consider to be the scariest thing that I do, taking the cup off the turner while it's spinning. All right. So I'm gonna call this, as far as the spots go, is done. And now the fun part, which I'm gonna have to put gloves on because this always scares me. I'm gonna drop the cup in my lap. Okay, leave your cup turner going, but check for places where the epoxy has moved away. Because sometimes if you drop too much ink in one spot, it will push the epoxy away, which is not a big deal because all you have to do is actually just kind of swirl it with your finger a bit, and it'll actually just cause it to come back over and cover that spot. All right, so now, here we go. I'm gonna have to stand up for this. I'm gonna turn off my cup turner for a second. Oh my goodness, that thing is stuck. Sorry, I'm not used to doing this with a camera on, so, all right. So now what you're gonna do is tilt the tumbler so you can start to see the bottom. So you're gonna tilt the cup one direction for a few seconds, and you'll start to see the ink spreading this direction, and then you're gonna go the other way. And you're just gonna do this a couple times until you kind of can get the swirl pattern you're looking for. But it starts to look like coffee mixing inside, like of a cup, which is why it's just a coffee look. Colors on this side look really good. So I'm gonna hold the cup like this for a second, so it's gonna fan out around the cup a bit more. Love that dark chocolate brown there. So now, put that back in your cup turner. Turn the cup turner back on. Bring back my chair. And now you basically are going to just let this sit and spin until it's cured. This usually takes, obviously, about 4 to 6 hours. But once you do, you get this really nice coffee look. And I have 2 of them right here. And these were both done on white base, just using the same, actually using the same 4 inks that I used on this one here. And on this one, I did the O for the Love of Coffee. This one doesn't have anything on it yet, but if you do it with a black base, you end up kind of with, more of like a, I kind of called it like a chocolate milk kind of cup, but to me, it reminded me of like Oreo cookies and milk. So I went with the One Tough Cookie, but it gives you kind of a different look when you do with a black base. Just kind of makes it a darker coloring, and I love how they turn out. So you can get 2 looks depending upon the base coat you use, which is awesome. So this cup's gonna spin, and then once it's finished, I'll of course post a little video of it at the end of the tutorial to show how it's finished. But that's it. This is probably one of the fastest tumblers that you can make without using glitter. So there it is. We'll come back in a little bit once this is cured and show the finished product. We're back. It's the next day, and the coffee cup turned out incredible. The tones that we ended up with it on this are so rich, and the cup just looks so creamy, which is what you want with your coffee, and it's beautiful. And the reason that I love these, and I've told you guys before, is because no matter how many times you make these, you're always going to end up with a very unique design compared to any of the other ones that you make. So this is the one we did yesterday. As you can see, it's got great swirls to it, great rich dark tones. This is one I did a couple weeks ago that I've already put the decal on, and it just says, "Oh, for the love of coffee." But you have, I mean, you end up with such unique swirls to these every time you make them. Here's another one I did last week. And it's just, they're so cool. They're so unique. I love how they turn out. You can do them on a different color base. This is on a black base. So it shows you using the same colors, you end up with different tones. And it just turns out great. So I'm really excited about this. I can't wait to see the tumblers that you guys create using this method. And just for fun, my daughter, who's 6, is obsessed with space. And I mean obsessed. She knows more about space than most people I know. So she loves space and challenged me basically to make her a Jupiter tumbler. So I used this method to basically create this tumbler, just in a little different ways. But this is the Jupiter tumbler I just finished for her last night, and it turned out amazing. I mean, I even got the little spot there for where the big storm is on Jupiter. So I'm going to show a tutorial for this. I already made the video because I just went ahead and ran with it last night. But this is really unique because this cup actually glows in the dark using one of our new glow powders. So I'm going to get this video done and edited and everything to get it online. So make sure that you do subscribe to our videos as well as hit the notification bell so you can get notified every time we upload a brand new tutorial, which that one should be up before the end of this week. And I actually have quite a few other ones that are probably going up this week as well. But that way you never miss a video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget the like button and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And I cannot wait to see the tumblers you guys make out of your coffee cups to put in our Glitter Chimp Facebook group and just to see all the amazing creations you guys make. So thank you guys again. Can't wait to see you guys in a couple more days with a new tutorial. And you guys have a great rest of your day.